Here's what we know. Instagram is offering creators up to $300,000 over 6 months for exclusive content. If you have a subscription to Business Insider, you can find the article in the link below, or here's a 1-minute breakdown. Meta is offering TikTok creators up to $300,000 to post on Instagram. Business Insider article is behind a paywall, but social media consultant Matt Navarra did drop some of the details on Threads. Some new details specific to this program: you have to sign a contract. It will pay between $2,500 to $50,000 a month, and some of your content must be exclusive to Instagram. Some of the other exclusives is whether your primary platform is TikTok or YouTube, you have to promote their content on Instagram via the link in bio, and Instagram may also promote you via ads on TikTok, Google, and other ad stores. I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're already trying to make money and therefore your time is valuable, so I'm not going to waste it. I've timestamped this video below so you can jump around to the chapters, and I'm going to talk about 4 more topics for the remainder of this video. First, we're going to cover 5 ways to monetize your Instagram Reels. Then I'm going to talk about how to partner with brands for sponsored Reels, because most of these programs are invite only for Facebook and Meta, but I'll tell you how to set up your account for success so you can qualify for those programs and ideally get invited in the next year. I've been in these programs for about 12 months myself. Talk about, thirdly, maximizing your earnings with Instagram, and then I'll wrap up with creating viral Reels, content, tips, and tricks. Of course, there's any number of unlimited and creative ways to monetize your social media, but these are 5 ways that have either worked for me personally or for friends in my network. 5 ways to monetize your Instagram include exclusive content creators. That's the one I talked about in the video in the beginning of this video. Facebook is offering TikTok content creators to offer exclusive content on Facebook or Instagram. That is by contract for 6 months. However, those are invite only programs, and I think they've already closed it for this year. Those programs will require you to create a certain number of videos and expressly put them exclusively on Instagram or Facebook for at least 3 to 6 months. Bonuses on Instagram is also another way to monetize your content, but it is an invite only program. I will cover a few things here because there are some things that people get confused about. First of all, the program is invite only, and it is not for personal profiles. At this time, it is limited to creators in South Korea and the United States. Don't ask me, that is a Facebook decision. And so if your profile isn't already set up as a business profile or a creator profile, you are not eligible to even be considered for invite into the program. So I would pause this video and go make sure if your content isn't already a business profile or a creator profile. If you're a content creator with a large number of followers, let's say over 10,000, then you can also look into Facebook and or Instagram subscriptions. It's exactly straightforward as it sounds. You set up your subscription, set up your payment account, either through ACH direct payment, or you can set it up through PayPal, which is what I use. And then you can create exclusive content for subscribers. Effectively, you can set it up. I believe there's a range. I think it's $1.99 to $9.99 right now. Mine is $4.99, for example. And anyone who subscribes to that will get exclusive content from subscriptions on Instagram or Facebook. Finally, you can set up badges just as straightforward if you're on YouTube or Instagram, or you've been watching live profiles recently. You've probably seen those badges. It's another way to monetize your content for subscribers, followers, or people who want to support you. And then lastly, there's ads and branded content. And I'm going to talk about a specific example of how to partner with brands for those of you who want to use branded content. And from time to time, Facebook and Instagram has set it up a branded content marketplace that you can go to and also work with directly with brands who want to work with your profile. Typically, they're looking for people with at least over 10,000 followers, but I have noticed that brands are now more interested in seeing a highly engaged audience. So even if you have a small following, I've seen people get offers with 1,000 followers or even less if their audience is highly engaged. And I'll tell you how to connect with those brands directly. These program requirements are right off the Facebook website, so I'm not going to read it to you. It is linked in the video description below, but I am going to highlight 2 things here once again. As you can see here at the top, it is only available in this case for United States, South Korea, and Japan. You can go to the Facebook website to see if or when this will be available in your country. And when you see right here in the middle that it's only available for select creators. So as a reminder, this is an invite only program. When you're invited by Instagram to one of these programs, it'll show up automatically in your Instagram profile. It will look something like this if you log into the app. Or it'll look something like this email that I got here earlier this year. It'll go over the program requirements, any updates, how you're eligible, what you have to do for eligibility, and it'll tell you how much you're eligible to be paid for this payout period. As you can see here, over this next 2 weeks, I'm eligible up to $15,000. I've been in the bonuses on Instagram program for about a year now, and I've been chronicling that experience in a YouTube playlist, which you can find linked to this video. I'll also link at the end of this video with an end cap, or you can find a link in the video description below. Partnering with brands is pretty straightforward. I'll talk about the 2 ways that have worked for me. Way number 1, I reached out directly to a brand. In this case, I was already ordering from Stately Men, which is a clothing men that does personalized clothing. I reached out to him. I said, hey, I reached out to him via email. I said, hey, I've been using your brands. I like this brand. I have, at that time, about 10,000 followers on Instagram. I now have about 30,000. And they had an affiliate program that I applied for. They reached back out to me and they started sending me boxes of clothes each month for free. And then I was able to do a review of those, and you can still find those videos on my YouTube channel and my Instagram. And then I was tagging them in my Instagram profile as a sponsored brand. The other way to work with sponsored brands is, as I said earlier in this video, Facebook and Instagram have over time, although I did not see it when I posted this video, but they have set up branded marketplaces where you can go right into the marketplace and see what brands are offering. So for example, they may say, in this case, Stately Men can make an offer, say that we'll pay $100 for a reel and story, or whatever their requirements are. You come to an agreement, you actually negotiate that agreement directly with the brand. If applicable, you sign the contract, and then you provide the deliverables to them, and they provide whatever payout or agreements that y'all have come to. Yes, it also goes down in the DMs. I've had brands reach out to me directly via DM and make direct offers either through contract or services. And if you're looking for partnering with those brands, what I would focus on here, as I said earlier in this video, is first either getting really engaged followers, so providing content that people want to see, or striving for having at least 10,000 followers, and then you can draw more attention from brands. To maximize your earnings with Instagram, I actually recommend that you do all 5 of these services, but I would recommend focusing on one. So for example, when I first started really taking Instagram serious, I had about 2,000 followers in 2021, and I decided that I was going to focus on one specific social media set. For me, I said I'm going to be dominant in Instagram, even though I was on YouTube and Instagram at the time. And then I was able to increase that to 10,000 followers. And then I was able to increase that to 30,000 followers. So you start getting momentum as you start growing. And it's actually easier. It's actually harder to go from 0 to 1,000 followers than it is to go from 2,000 followers to 10,000. And it's easier to go from 10,000 followers to 30,000. I think that's sort of because people see that, okay, this person is consistently delivering great content. They also see that 9,999 people already signed up for you. So they're like, hey, how bad could it be? So they go ahead and hit that follow button. So like I said, if you want to maximize your earnings with Instagram, I would focus on getting your first 10,000 followers, subscribers, loyal customers, or whatever that looks like for you and your brand. That brings me to the final step, how to create viral reels, content tips and tricks. So I'll bring in this video. One recommended follow that I would have is the head of Instagram. He's actually very engaged on both Instagram and Threads. And here's an example video that he dropped about how to go viral on Instagram. And then I'll do a masterclass breakdown of why I think he did some of the features in this video for creating viral content. And I'll show you the ones that worked for me to get 1 million views and 7 million views on some of my reels.
The second in a short series of videos about how ranking works on Instagram. And this one's focused on recommendations and how to have your content show up. Now, if you don't know, recommendations are when you see a piece of content from an account you have not decided to follow yet. And they're an increasingly important part of Instagram, and they're how we're growing the overall pie and trying to drive as much reach to as many creators as possible. And if you want your content to be eligible to show up to people who have not decided to follow you yet, you need to meet these 5 criteria. 1, no watermarks. 2, make sure you add audio, particularly important for photos and carousels. 3, if you are posting a video, make sure that it's 3 minutes long or less. 4, make sure that the content is original. And that doesn't mean you can't work with someone else's content, but you have to significantly make it your own. So I could take someone else's video and do a green screen on top of it and give my commentary. That would be original. And 5, make sure your account is in good status, which you can check by going to Profile and to Account Status. So if you want to maximize your reach and grow your follower count as quickly as possible, make sure you do those 5 things, and it'll help a lot, I promise. More to come soon. Peace.
This clip is only 60 seconds long, but it offers a masterclass in how to go viral on Instagram. First, he sets the hook in the first 10 seconds. I would recommend that you not even have an intro or an outro in these days. I would have a call to action, but just do so verbally, because most people are dropping off of videos within the first 10 seconds on Instagram and the first 30 seconds on YouTube. So just jump right into the message. And as you can see here, he just puts a title and what that video is going to talk about. And then he also uses this as the still screen for that reel. In this case, you can set your reel still screen on Instagram. And so you can set the message of the video, and he's accomplished all this in just the first 10 seconds. You see here the title goes away, which is a personal preference. I personally like to keep the title on the reel for the length or the duration of the video, or for at least 30 seconds or the entirety of the video if it's only 30 seconds, just to remind the person what they're watching and learning about. However, another best practice that I see here is closed captions. You can use a closed caption app. However, captions are free on pretty much every social media platform now. That's why I would just recommend using the free captions available to you in the app. I skipped ahead here to the 30-second mark for another best practice. He brings up key information and he refers back to that title on the screen. You can also see here that throughout the video, he's making direct eye contact with the audience to create a personal feel and connection with the audience. This is another reason that I don't like to read scripts. I like to just have a conversation with you. As he says here, 2 more best practices, but I'm actually going to hit them in reverse order. Remember that all of these social medias have various community guidelines, so you have to keep your account in good standing if you want anyone to see your video. So make sure that you follow those. But more importantly, he talks about having the video not be longer than it needs to be, in this case, less than 3 minutes. That's why I don't have an outro. I just do this.